My last question for the night before I get out of here is a short question. Do y'all like the girl Tyla?
I like to make me short song. I haven't heard anything else.
I've heard a few records from her, and I will say this: she actually does make good. She actually does make good music. I think that she has a lot of potential. Hearing that she doesn't identify as black, she identifies as colored. Like that's insanity. That's insanity, and that's
Well, no.
the
Well,
kind
no.
of shit I
Apparently
can't
in South.
support.
Well, no. Apparently in South Africa, that's like a different like race out there. Like you're
Yeah,
black, you're white. Like there's colors. That's like a thing out there.
I don't
yeah.
want to hear that shit. I don't give a fuck. I come from
Well,
America.
that's
That's
Color
well, I was about to say
does
that's.
not have a good.
yeah. That's
And
all.
I was about to say
That's why I didn't really when she said that I didn't really care because I was like we can't just force our values on other people's shit. So I was
yeah. I was
like
about to
when
say
she
nigga,
said I
you
was like all right,
that's some
well
American
whatever.
shit. Yeah.
and
I'm not from out there, but
that's why for me personally, I try not to get involved in celebrity like lifestyles in that regard. You know what I mean? Because I don't live in that vein. You know what I mean? If we were on Joe Budden's level, you know what I'm saying? To where we kind of mix and mingle with celebrities in that regard, we live in that same realm more or less, it would be different. Because I can't, let me just say, I don't have the same understanding. You know what I'm saying? And I get what
I
you're
don't think they
saying,
got to do
Koj.
it.
Kojo just said black is mainly a thing in Western culture. Other places don't call themselves black. I respect that. But I come from a culture that black is prideful. You know what I'm saying? I come from a culture to where saying colored is demeaning myself. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I
but
don't
out
have
there,
that
that don't.
same understanding.
But that's what I'm saying. You gotta have that understanding though, because
No,
like,
no, no,
nigga,
no. I don't.
color don't mean.
I don't
But
have to have
I'm
that understanding. I think that that's one thing that people have to accept is that because we were raised different, because there is such a cultural shift in that regard, we don't have to have the same viewpoints. You know what I mean? I can respect her
nigga.
saying,
This sound like what white people say. Like, nigga, I wouldn't raise around these niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna respect these niggas. Like, what?
no, no,
Like,
no,
nigga,
no,
what?
no, no, no. I think it's a difference in me saying I don't understand someone calling themselves colored when essentially everywhere else in the world you are labeled as black. Like she legit couldn't travel to any other country outside of Africa and say that she's colored without being labeled as black. You get what I'm saying? You can't do
Sure.
a overseas tour
Nigga
and go to
said
New
sure.
Zealand, Switzerland, shit
But,
like that,
I'm saying,
and they say, "Hey,
but
you're
I'm saying, but that's her culture. She says she colored. She colored.
You're right. That's where I say I have to respect it from a distance in that regard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me
I
personally,
don't, I
socially, I
don't get why
can't.
you gotta say for distance.
Huh?
I don't get why you gotta. I don't know. It's just like you being like you know how to be like American like you just be like an American at this point. Like, it ain't our culture. You know?
I mean, I am American. I think that
Yeah.
Nigga like our country, our rules.
no, no, no. I'm not even saying
Yeah,
it like that.
man.
I'm not even saying
What?
it like that. But to say I'm colored, like black people in Africa don't even call themselves colored. You know what I'm saying? I'm
But South
African.
Africa, dude. South Africa. I don't know. We don't. I that was my first time learning that. We don't
Right.
know
And
enough about
and
their
and
culture.
that's where I say I'm not privy to that kind of experience. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I'm not privy to that kind of thinking.
Yeah, that's
So in
right.
that regard, I can't relate. I'm not trying to say it to where I don't respect it, but I am saying it to where I don't relate, I don't understand it, and I don't have the same moral views
Yeah,
of
it's kind of like how they have you having all them crazy ass rules in Dubai. Like I don't agree with them, but I'm like I'm just don't want whatever to go. But
right.
that's their shit. Like I can't when I look like talking down on their shit.
Yeah.
Like ain't my shit,
And
ain't my
I
country.
don't know the history of South Africa, which I kind of want to learn now. Like, why do they call themselves colors? Because I didn't know that was a thing until like literally till she
Well,
said it. So I was like, that's interesting.
they got a lot of issues with white people taking over down there anyway. So they're probably just something the white people making them say.
Who the fuck knows? I mean, Africa has definitely been plagued by white people for a very long time, and in that regard, I do think that it shaped the mindset in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? But you see how much of a disdain there is between Africans and African Americans. You know what I'm saying? And in that
Oh, real
regard,
quick.
good.
I just found the definition real quick. It said coloreds refer to members of multiracial ethnic communities in southern Africa who may have ancestry in more than one of the various populations inhabiting the regions of African, European, and Asia. So
And see,
it's
that to me just sounds weak minded, like being real. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was
how can you say that like that? Because you just thinking what color means down here is different out there. Like they
no, I'm
like
thinking of the same way that white people here in America say, I'm Irish, I'm Indian, I'm this, I'm that. It's like, no,
yeah.
motherfucker. Yeah, you might have a piece of all of this, but that's not what defines you. That's not where your morals lie. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why I don't
But so
respect that shit.
but I'm saying if a person is white and Asian in South Africa, they colored. Like if a person is black and Asian, they colored.
That doesn't
Like
make sense to me.
if you
That's not
that's
how I
my
was
point.
raised, and that's all that I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
That doesn't make sense to me. You get what I'm saying? Um,
yeah.
Now, Kojo just made a point. He said black people aren't black. White people just started calling them that. I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Now, here in America, we accepted that term. We embraced, we adopted that term. In other countries abroad, I understand why an African would say, no, I'm not black, I'm African. Because my heritage is true, right? In America, a black person is saying, I don't have the same lineage as what a Eastern European might. You know what I'm saying? Or a European, period. Somebody that was able to cross the seas and come over here. I don't have that kind of lineage. I have a lineage of trauma. So I'm starting this new, we're starting this new acceptance, rather, right? Of our own culture in a sense. Because realistically, we don't relate to Africans in many ways. You know what I mean? But again, I don't know the whole
You know, I feel like we really can't have this conversation because we literally probably
bro,
know
stop
nothing about
exploring this picture, man. This is wild as fuck.
it.
This is
Yeah, there
wild
are
as fuck.
orangutans in South Africa.
I'm sure there
I could
are.
imagine. It's
I don't
orangutans
know that there are
in Detroit.
orangutans in Rolls Royces, but
You said there's orangutans in Detroit.
Yeah.
All right, was that a racist joke?
Nah.
if he said they got on buffs, then it would have been.
Yeah, that would have been racist. That would have been racist. I ain't shit. I would have said
There's orangutans in Detroit with buffs on right now.
some cardi.
Sada baby, he calls himself a big ape. So,
Yeah, he do.
Man, that's funny.
That's funny.
But again, I mean, I think that, calling yourself a colored in any nation is actually like,
It's crazy, but it's
it is because
we
it's a
can't.
it's
discredit
one of the things
from
like
What
that's
color
what
the
they
color
do.
black
don't mean no
aspect
doubt.
of, because again, in every nation, Africans, blacks, whatever you want to describe people of a darker diaspora as, you know what I'm saying? People of the darker diaspora.
I'm gonna
rather.
be honest. I'm putting, even though it's over there, it just means, it obviously means something else than what it means over here. I'm just gonna put this in the same vein as like over here we call FAG a slur, and then FAG over there is like a cigarette. So
Yeah, that's
I put
literally
that in the same vein. So
same as that thing. It's two different things. Like just because it's offensive to you in your culture, it means something completely different in other cultures.
No. Trust.
You know,
I get that wholeheartedly, and I would always respect someone's opinion. You know what I mean? But if you're asking me here in America how I view that, then I'm telling you out of my ignorance, my lack of knowledge, my lack of
Yeah.
experience in that regard, this is how I view it. It's one of those things to where calling yourself colored and saying, hey, I'm going to embrace both sides of this, to where one side is blatantly disrespectful to the other side in my home, I think that's crazy. And that's just me personally.
Make me sweat. Pause.
As long as you don't stand up or no shit, we alright.
That's crazy.
If you grab that water bottle, we gonna have a problem.
That's insane. I would hope you would kill me for doing that.
Nigga, you would definitely be in here by yourself for the rest of the fucking lease.
That's crazy.
That is hilarious.
But yeah,
That's all that they need to ass beats.
yeah, I don't know if I had a they need their ass beat this week.
So you gotta.
Oh man, I seen a mother beat her son's ass. Like, man, she beat the shit out of her son in front of the teachers and whatnot, for the teacher having to call home about the son or whatever. And I was just like, God damn, like, y'all all gonna watch this shit? I don't know where it was at. I don't even know.
Oh, you saw a video?
It was on like social media and shit. And it just like that actually
Real quick, we're gonna how y'all niggas feel about whoopings?
I have like a strewed vision on it today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to think whippings were a necessity.
Nah, them bitches, nah.
They not. Because you can definitely discipline in multitude of ways. Like, even how Eric said earlier, I be checking niggas with, you good? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can say things, you can make people to feel a way based on what you're saying that will get the, not to say the emotion, but what you hoped to evoke. It would get that across without you having to go through those kind of extremities. So in that regard, I think like beating someone is excessive.
Yeah.
I think that we have to get away from that in the black community, especially because for so long beatings were prided. You know what I'm saying? To the point other people felt like they could beat your kids.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where things changed when us as, you know, a community realized it's not right for everyone to have that kind of privilege. Yes, I do think it takes a community to raise a child, but I don't think it takes a community of violence to raise a child. You know what I'm saying? I think it's knowledge, it's resources, network, things of that sort. So for a lot of people, let's just say single mothers, single fathers, things like that, single parents, period. If you're having trouble disciplining or educating your child in a way to where you feel like the knowledge is sticking and they're able to make conscious decisions for themselves, then you need to reach out to other like-minded individuals and have them to become some kind of a mentor or something of that regard, right?
Yeah.
Because what we see a lot of today, I feel like kids respect people that they feel like are admirable.
Yeah.
And in that regard, you know, Kojo just said it's meant for fear and respect, not discipline. But I still think that you beating someone to gain this fear aspect is a problem. I've heard in a lot of ways and a lot of times that people get some kind of demeanor from me. Like, you know, Eric mentioned it earlier to where it's like, yo, Joe should have a scolding with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because when he does this, it's this kind of way, right? And it's not. I'm never trying to evoke a fear in someone else. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's more so that I'm trying to stand my ground. I came up from, you know, my brother is.
Make me sweat.
All right, you
pause.
Wildin'. Wildin'. My brother is 5 years older than me. That nigga is like 6 inches taller than me. You know, pause. But
Why is that a
just saying
pause?
6 inches is crazy. But I'm just saying I might be ignorant. But I
My
say it to
brother
say,
got a 17-inch dick.
you're gay.
That was
You are gay. You're gay.